Today we welcome back a familiar face to our Fascinating World of Birds segment. Welcome, Chanith.
Thank you for having me.
Today I thought of asking you about a very common bird species to us Melburnians, the magpie. Would you be able to enlighten us about this bird species, Chanith?
Sure. I quite like magpies, mainly because they're a very good example of what's called subspecies. Are you familiar with the concept of subspecies at all?
Unfortunately, I'm not too familiar with this concept, but would you be able to explain it to me and our viewers at home?
Gladly. So, a subspecies is really what it says on the tin. When you divide an animal into its species, there are subpopulations of this species which exhibit different characteristics. We term these subspecies if they're genetically different enough, but not quite genetically different enough to make them species. Now with magpies, Victoria has two main subspecies, the white-backed magpie in the south and the black-backed magpie in the north. With hybrids between the two, instead of seeing the back being fully white or fully black, there'll be a sliver of white, more or less depending on how much white-backed magpie is in the bird, and then a section of the back will still be black. Because of this, it's very obvious to see hybrids, because the back is pretty easy to notice. This is particularly interesting to me, as I often drive north in Victoria for bird watching reasons, and when you drive north, you see the white-backed magpies along the roadside slowly give way to more and more hybrids, and then more and more black-backs as you enter their territory. It just interests me a lot, and it makes the long drives a bit less monotonous.
Do these two subspecies exhibit different behavioural patterns, or is it more the same?
It's pretty much the same. I believe even the calls are the same. It's the same fluty, melodious song that you're probably all very used to.
So in Melbourne, as you might know, magpies are very famous for swooping. What would you be able to tell us about that?
Well, magpies, to be honest, I've always thought they get a bit of a bad reputation for that. I personally have never been swooped by a magpie. I know, somehow.
Very lucky you are.
Yes. But the main thing is they're doing it to try and defend their nests. So one particularly good tip I've heard is that if you keep your eyes on a magpie as you walk past its nest, it usually gets a bit too worried to dive bomb you, or if it does, it won't connect.
Have you tried that yourself? Is that
Yes,
a myth or legend?
I mean, it's what I always do if I see a nesting magpie, and so far I haven't been swooped, so there you go.
Lucky.
I heard also, although I've never seen anyone do this, that some cyclists at one point would paste fake eyes, like little eye-shaped markings on the back of their helmets, and that this, well, according to the story I read, it worked. But I have no clue if it actually works or if it's something that anyone nowadays even does.
Of course.
I guess it's worth a shot.
Of course. I've also seen cyclists have the spiky tags on their helmets. Is that an effective method to prevent being swooped?
I've never actually seen, I honestly haven't seen that before, so I'm not sure either.
I'm sure all our viewers at home may have some more questions about these famous magpies that they'd like to ask our bird enthusiast Chanith over here. However, that does bring us to the end of our segment today. Thank you so much for joining with us again and sharing your insightful knowledge with us and our viewers at home.
Thank you for your kind words.
See you again next week on our segment Fascinating World of Birds.